Hello, hello. We are continuing on our journey to read the entire Bible by reading 2 chapters a day, one in the morning, 8 a.m., one at night, 7 p.m. I hope that you would join us. So today we will be reading chapter 12. And the word of the Lord reads, verse 1. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you." So the Lord didn't tell him where. He said a land that he will show him. But he told him to get out of that country, right? From his family, from his father's house, right? They were in Haran at this time. Verse 2, God says, "I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." Verse 3, "I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So this is God's covenant with Abram, right? Also later known as Abraham. Verse 4, "So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him." And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Verse 5, "Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan." So they came to the land of Canaan. So Abram was not living pillar to post. He was wealthy. He had people that worked for him that he taken care of as well. So we see that as Abram departed, his nephew Lot went with him, right? So verse 6, "Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, and the Canaanites were then in the land." So Abram and his whole crew, his workers, all the things he had, people he had, they moved from Haran to Shechem in Canaan, right? Verse 7, "Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, 'To your descendants I will give this land.' And there he built an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him." Right? So this is the first time since the garden that the Lord has been with man. We saw in the garden where he said he walked with them in the cool of the day. And here we see the Lord appear to Abram. So wherever you build an altar to God, you take possession of that place. That place is counted for God, right? Verse 8, "And he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord." Verse 9, "So Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south." Verse 10, "Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land." So the journey from Shechem to Egypt is about 250 to 300 miles, right? Which back then would have taken them about 6 weeks. Okay, for us, we could drive, if we're going about 60 miles an hour, we could probably drive there in 4 to 5 hours, right? So verse 11 says, "And it came to pass when he was close to entering Egypt that he said to Sarai, his wife, 'Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance.'" So my question, why would a woman so beautiful be barren if God had commanded us to be fruitful? That's just a question I have. We'll probably find out later why. Verse 12, "Therefore what happened when the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live." Verse 13, this is Abram talking to Sarai. "Please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, that I may live because of you." Verse 14, "So it was when Abram came into Egypt that the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful." Verse 15, "The princes of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house." So the Pharaoh's sons, the princes, right, even bragged about how beautiful she was to them. Verse 16, "So he treated Abram well for her sake, He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. Verse 17. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So this was still another man's wife, even though the Pharaoh had no knowledge of it at the time. So it makes you wonder, if you're married to somebody else's wife or husband, why you may be going through it, right? Maybe you don't know what comes along with that. So there are solutions to every problem in the Bible, right? It'll teach you how to pray right, okay? Verse 18, and Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? So who told Pharaoh? I wonder how Pharaoh found that out, right? I guess he would call out to somebody to find out why all these things are happening in his house. Okay, verse 19. Pharaoh tells Abram, why did you say she's my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore, here's your wife. Take her and go your way. Verse 20. So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. So Pharaoh kicked them out, right? But they were able to take all of their things with them. So, verse 12, we see that God had more instructions for Abram. And just like with Noah, I'm kind of seeing there's kind of like a pattern, right? With Noah, he told him to build an ark, and he said it would rain 40 days and 40 nights. However, he did not say how long the water was going to be on the earth, right? We see with Abram, he tells him, get out of your country, away from your family, away from your father's house. And he just says, to a land I'm going to show you, right? But Abram went on his way. Yeah, you see? And so it's starting to become a common thing that God will tell you one thing, and you have to start moving in that one thing, right? And so obedience, the very first thing, obedience is so important. And we're seeing, I don't know if they threw a tantrum or anything, you know, like when God tells us stuff now, it's kind of like a little rebellious thing that happens. I'm wondering, like, it appears that they just obeyed. They almost like they didn't need to know the end result. They just had this trust like we're supposed to have in God. And they're having bigger things to do. Like he might tell us, hey, go to bed at 9 p.m. Like, that's something simple. He's telling Abram, hey, leave your family, leave this country. And I'm just going to give you, right, a land. And I'll show you it later. But right now, I need you to get away from your family. So when God tells us small things, like, and not only that, he had his wife, his nephew, all of their servants, their animals, right? So he has this huge responsibility, but he still obeyed God. And we have less at risk and we won't obey God, right? So, but I am seeing this common thing where God will tell him one thing. And so now I believe in this day and age, we want to know the next thing before we decide to do the first thing. Well, no, you obey with the instruction that he gave you. And if once you obey that instruction, you'll get to the next thing, right? So God bless you all. Hopefully there are not instructions that you're waiting for God to tell you the next thing before you do the first thing. Do the first thing, okay? God bless you all. And we will see you all at 7 p.m. for chapter 13.